Hi, this is Lynn Suzek, and I am your faith coach. Tomorrow's Mother's Day. Happy Mother's Day. Now, today I want to talk about the difference between listening to direction and obedience, which is something as a word that we throw around in legalism. So, a lot of people talk about, that faith and healing have to do with relationship with God. And when I hear that, sometimes I get the feeling that they're talking about kind of a legalistic approach to God, and I don't like it. And your relationship with God is everything, but it's not like if you have a bad relationship with God, which I don't know what that is, but if your relationship with God, like, I don't know, people think that you have to spend a certain amount of time with God, and I'm not sure what even to say about that kind of thing, because we're with God all day, and I don't know what other people do, but I'm constantly communicating with the Lord. We're one. The Father and I are one, right? So, let's just talk about, first of all, like going to the promised land, which is our healing. Our healing is the promised land. And if you know, in the Old Testament, the Israelites were supposed to go into the promised land, but they refused for fear. And they just didn't get to the promised land because they just wouldn't go in. So their lack of quote-unquote obedience caused them to not get their promise. And that was just, they wouldn't go get it. And they wouldn't go into the promised land because of the fear of the giants. But your healing is in a promised land that you might be afraid to enter. So in a way, obedience is a part of the healing. Now, for instance, things go on in my life that I need the Lord's direction. So this is part of it. Healing and faith. Every day I'm looking for more understanding of how to enter the promised land for my full healing, although we do see that happen in many other areas of our life in healing, wellness, staying well, not getting sick, all that. So I'm in constant communication about what to do next, or how to put together this puzzle so that I am walking and progressing and healing. But so I know that there was something going on, let's say, for instance, with another person in your life, where people are involved. You need the Lord's direction. We want to operate in love, but sometimes we're being influenced by a spiritual force that's causing confusion in our life. And even though we minister to people, some people come and go in our lives, and we don't know what to do when we realize this is not working, and it's causing me more harm than good to have this person around. So things like that, you need the Lord's direction. And this happens quite a bit in my life. People that I come in contact with for help or whatever, or ministry, there's a point in time where we might have to end a relationship. And the disturbance that we can have because of somebody in our life really clouds our ability to hear from the Lord, correct? So, maybe for some people, you just realize this is not good and you just end it. I don't know. But for, where employment is involved and so forth, things can be a little tricky. Now, what I'm saying is when the Lord tells you, okay, so like this conversation I had with the Lord, like I'm like every day I'm like, like in chains, feeling like this is bothering me. This is like mental torture. I'm under the influence of a spirit that I can't stand, and I keep, for me, I'm talking, let's say at least a year of battling this torture in my mind about things that are just kind of, I don't know, it could be imaginary or not, but it's just something that's bothering me about a person, let's say. And, if it's bothering you and the spirits are having access to you and you need to just cut this off and then, be at peace. Well, I like, Lord, sometimes I watch these videos on narcissists and things, and you find out that lots of people in our lives are controlling and manipulating you without you necessarily understanding what's going on. And so you have clues, when you have a disturbance about somebody, you just can't, you dread, and then your mind is like, well, they're a nice person and they need your help and things like that. So anyway, there's just this thorn in the side. And so I asked the Lord, okay, if I need to do something about this, show me how, and I'll do it. Well, when you get to that point, you're pretty much ready to do whatever. Sometimes, basically when God's going to give us direction, most often I'd say it's out of the box and a little bit hard on us in a way, like something that we just don't want to have to do, but we have to do it. Like, anyway, when the Lord gives me an idea and says, do this, now's the time, and I start thinking, wow, I got to do this, and now's the time, and that works out perfectly. There's every reason, everybody's, this is the right thing to do. Then I have to hope that other people are in agreement with me or don't, all things have to line up sometimes. When you get direction from the Lord, it's a little bit, it's kind of profound and maybe a little scary because it's not something you would normally do, things like that. So, but anyway, once you do it, pull the plug or, something totally unexpected. Like, it's like, pulling the rug out from that person. The Lord deals with that person. That person might need that done in their life. But for me, when I do something, okay, this Lord showed me I had something I didn't think of doing, then I do it, and then it's like, now I've entered the rest, God's rest, because I feel so much better, and now I can hear clearly from the Lord and maybe get somewhere because this thing is out of my life. So I think that a lot of times people feel that healing is like a reward for obedience, and that's not it at all. Healing, when we need to make our way through a map to get somewhere, it's not that you are going to be rewarded for turning left and turning right and going here and climbing over the wall and through the woods and whatever God tells you to do. It's not a reward. It's like that's how you get there. If you don't listen, God can't get you there if you don't take steps of obedience, because He's giving you direction. Direction leads to the answer, and sometimes we don't want to follow the direction because we're afraid or whatever. But be tuned in to God's voice, because when you just say, all right, tell me what to do, and then you get you will get an epiphany. You'll get some direction, and usually the clue is it's something that you would maybe normally not think of doing yourself. Profound things, something out of the box, something you didn't plan on, and you do it. There's, I mean, it's not exactly reward. It's just you get there, you know. God is always willing to give us the victory, but we do have to take steps of direction to finally get there. Get the difference? I hope you got that.